All right. Assalamu alaikum, Runtings Rude Y. Welcome to the Becoming the Alpha Muslim live stream. Nabil Aziz, becomingthealphamuslim.com, and the Becoming the Alpha Muslim podcast. What is up? Okay, so some interesting stuff going on. Hold on, let me just double check to see if everything's online. Facebook is online, so we're live on Facebook. All right, so let me continue. So here's the deal. Recently, and this was in about like November of last year, I was invited on the Boys in the Cave podcast, and I showed up, did the interview. 6 weeks later, the episode drops. Okay, and we went through all this time, went through all this hassle. I spent maybe 5 to 10 years, 5 to 10 hours out of my life, communicating with these guys, preparing for the interview, um, preparing for the interview, giving the interview, making sure I took time out of my day. It was a Friday, which is the weekend for us. All right. And everything seemed to be going fine. And the brothers were giving me great feedback about the episode. They were excited. And before the episode drops, they even announce it so that people can be ready. They dropped even a teaser video, and the episode goes live. Perfect. I'm helping them promote it, yada, yada, yada. Great feedback again from the listeners. Today, they make a post on their Facebook page saying that we're going to take the episode down. And they messaged me after they've taken the episode down. They didn't inform me beforehand, okay? So I get their DM, and then after that, I see their post on Facebook talking about how stuff has come to light. The usual disavow and disassociate spiel that give in situations. All right. And they seemed very apologetic in the DM. Honestly, I really can't blame them, because they have to protect their brand, And they seemed very apologetic in the DM, but you know how you get these messages from Muslims, and they surround it in this cloak of religious jargon, and they surround it with dua. It may or may be not sincere, but oftentimes, and I've like you just get this feeling sometimes that it's not genuine, right? They're just doing it in a way that it allows them to feel better about what they're doing. Okay? So, no problem. To be honest, I was expecting it from day one. From the minute these guys contacted me, I had this feeling in my gut that this would happen. And I still said yes anyway because I wanted to give them the benefit of the doubt, They're new podcasters. I want to encourage the Muslim content creators. So I said, okay, let's do it. No problem. No? But in the back of my mind, I was waiting for this. In fact, I even reached out to some of our mutual friends who are their mentors and told them, listen, this episode is going to drop. I don't know if these guys know or are ready for the shitstorm that's about to happen. So please let them know. I don't want them to fold like wet towels. All right. So episode drops, yada yada. Okay, so eventually this happened. They took the episode down. All right. But then I'm like, yo, why should I deprive my audience of listening to this stuff? So I said, okay, no problem. No hard feelings. You can do what you want. I don't mind. Yeah. And I was expecting it. It's no big deal. It's your podcast, your channel. Do what you want. But I'm going to re-upload it onto my podcast. What I did. and you can find the link to the episode if you want to listen to it in the ticker below. All right. So told them I'm gonna re-upload the podcast, and now they get defensive because they weren't expecting that. They thought, I just go quietly into the night, accept this BS mob mentality, keep trying to deplatform social justice, slacktivism bullshit. That's not me. So in any case, this is what happened. From the time we spoke in the morning until I took the episode live, it was about maybe 4 to 6 hours. So I turned it around quite fast. I had to actually upload do a bit of editing for the audio, put an intro of mine over it, and then upload it to Libsyn, write the show notes, publish, and promote. Okay, so it was quite a bit of work. Totally messed up my schedule for the day. I couldn't get any work done because these guys, pulled this one on me. And if they had actually contacted me ahead of time and said, "Yo, listen, this is what's going on. Don't know if we can manage this. We're really not sure what's going on. How is this going to affect our project going forward? Is this going to ruin our reputation?" I would have been able to coach them through that, and their mentors would have been able to coach them through that. Okay, but man, you know how it is with these. They're grown as adults. They're in their 20s, well in their 20s. But let me tell you something. As somebody who's actually worked in Islamic centers and had shuyukh, managed the travel arrangements of shuyukh for Islamic lectures and things like that, virtually, I would say 8 out of 10, maybe 9 out of 10 of these du'at or shuyukh speakers hate working with Muslim university students because they're so unprofessional, they're so disorganized, and they just don't know what's going on. I'm not saying this is the case for these brothers because they're running a good operation. However, in a high pressure situation, they folded. Okay? And they've set a precedent that I believe is going to ruin their show. And I really hope that I'm wrong about this, but I'm pretty sure that these guys are going to fall off the map in 2 years because this kind of behavior, this kind of attitude towards how you show up online and how you manage your platform in the online marketplace of ideas, it's not sustainable. Okay, you give in to the mob once, you're going to be giving in to them forever. Okay. Anyway, so let's take a look at the post. If you want to go to bit.ly/boysinthecave screen, see my screen. Double check the chat. And leave your comments in the chat if you have any questions. Let me know. I'd be happy to answer them. Ahnaf says, do you feel that the boys in the cave were co-opted by the feminists and gamma males, or did they plan to bail on you prior to those two turning the heat on them? Honestly, I really believe that these guys weren't prepared. They've not faced anything like this before. And they were just not prepared to deal with the controversy. Whenever something like this happens, you never, ever, ever appease the mob. Never appease the mob. Where is not if live. Anyway, the point is you never appease the mob. Yeah? Because this behavior, this apologizing and appeasing people, it doesn't end there. You give them an inch, they're going to take a mile, and they're never satisfied. They're never satisfied. Okay. Any case, let's see. Is Periscope on? Periscope is not on, but it'll be on soon. My screen. Still getting the hang of this OBS studio. Anyways, this is okay. This is my screen with chat. All right, never mind. Need to get the hang of those things. All right, so oh, it was showing the screen. All right, there's a delay, right? All right, so back to my point. Like, if you look at a podcast like the Mad Mamluks, they've had me on a bunch of times. I've had them on my show. They've had to deal with this criticism. And the first time I was on their show, they tell me that they got crazy amounts of heat, but they still didn't take it down. Why? Because they understand the concept of creative freedom and freedom of association, right? As a Muslim content creator, the consumers, people who've never produced any piece of content in their lives, have no idea the amount of courage, the amount of vulnerability it takes to show up online and say, "Here, I made this. Please watch or listen to it or read it. Tell me what you think." Okay, I mean, a lot of content creators, they feel very anxious whenever they hit the publish button because they're afraid of what people might think. And for non-content creators to have the audacity, okay, to dictate what kind of content is being created by these content creators for free, okay, is not acceptable at all, right? All right, more questions. Who's got questions? Assalamu alaikum, Yusuf, Rahman, Ali, what's up? What's up? Ahnaf, I already said hello. Cool. Now let's test some of these screens on OBS. Not displaying my comments. Okay, split screen. Right, so let me see. This is the post that I wrote. If you go to bit.ly/boys in the cave, you can check out the post. Here you go. This is the entire interview that I've uploaded. And please, guys, if you listen to the interview and you find it valuable, please share it on your social media feeds using this link. It helps me track better. Here's a teaser video that we shot for it. And look at this, okay? After receiving feedback from close friends, leaders, and members of our community. Okay, so this is Boys in the Cave talking, right? We've made the decision to remove our recent episode, episode 35, The Alpha Muslim. Although the episode itself was labeled as tame by some that are close to us, we recognize the background of those involved in the episode have been seen to endorse certain views which we certainly do not support. Like, bros, like seriously, This isn't yani the freaking the government of Sydney releasing a press release. You can talk like human beings. Yeah. It's this is the problem, like generally in the Muslim community, they have this very stilted way and slightly autistic way of doing PR that like doesn't it just doesn't come off as natural. Yeah. Look at this. Yes, we knew of the guest's outspoken nature. However, we weren't following our guest's social media close enough to see some of the posts that were made through. What are these posts? I really want to know what these posts are. You know, and is it sufficient for social media posts to make you make like a decision like this? Doesn't make sense to me, really. And so what if people make social media posts? These guys have had actual heretics on their show. Like, I'm not saying heretic lightly, I'm saying actual heretics who've promoted heretical ideas. Okay? Compare that with what people would like to call mean tweets on social media. Are you kidding me? So it's cool for you to have feminist zindiqas on your show. It's cool for you to have people who promote the idea that Adam alayhi salam evolved from an ape. Yeah? And it's cool for you to have all these people on the show, but somebody comes in, doesn't spout anything wrong with Islamic Aqidah. Everything I say is in line, or is an acceptable interpretation of the religion. Aqidah is legit, no deviant ideas. The only thing that's different about me is the way I communicate online. So according to the mob and according to Boys in the Cave, bad adab trumps bad aqidah. Where does this make sense? Bro. Okay. Imran, as a guest, do you feel you have the responsibility to tell someone you are inviting what they are in for? Honestly, I thought these guys were totally aware of the situation. And in fact, bro, didn't we speak about this? And I explained to you, I don't think these guys are ready for what's gonna happen. Please let them know. I don't want them to cuck, you know. Face, bro, what money are they going to lose? They just started their Patreon. They're probably not even getting $50 a month. Ask the Mad Mamluks how hard they had to hustle and grind to get the Patreon donations and the launch group donations that they got. It's like pulling teeth trying to get Muslims to pay for content. Bro Nabil, are you inspired by Bro Yusuf Chowdhury for doing live? Yusuf is the Don. Much respect to Yusuf. I've seen him do lives before, but his style and mine are a little bit different. He's more focused on doing content for digital marketing. But yeah, for real. Primal Pixies, what you saying? Who are you talking about? What do you mean? What am I talking about? Rafa, salams, brother Nabil here from Sydney. I definitely feel that Boys in the Cave caved in to the loud Muslim left. And you know what? I think Imran has a point. I should have been more explicit when I let them know. Listen, this is gonna happen. Are you ready for it? But you know, here's the thing. There's a verbal agreement in place, right? When this communication is going on, and when we say, okay, let's do it, yeah, are you okay with it? Let's get it on. Let's come on the show, set a time, yada yada yada, make the outline, do the questions, sit, do the interview. I think I spent maybe 5 to 10 hours of my life that I'm not going to get back. All right. And then these guys have the nerve to say I can't republish the episode. Okay. Are they going to give me back the time that I spent on this? You know how much I charge for an hour of consulting? I charge $600. Yalla, pay me $6,000. I might think of taking down the episode. All right. So there's a verbal agreement in place. Okay, as men, not only that, as Muslim men, your word is your bond. Okay. We have a verbal agreement in place. Don't break your verbal agreement, dude. Handshake rule. Handshake rule. Okay. If I can't trust your handshake, then what good are you to me? That's the man code, and more importantly than that, the Muslim is by his contracts, or the Muslim goes by his contracts. You have a verbal contract in place, a verbal agreement. Even if nothing is written in legalese writing, okay, we've agreed that this is going to happen. And then, okay, if you wanna go back on your word, you can go back on your word. Nobody's gonna stop you, man. And maybe you didn't even make some religious mistake or whatever. It's your choice. No problem. I don't mind. You can act in your best interest, and I'll act in my best interest, right? If that's what we're going by, if that's all that matters, if you don't care about verbal agreements between men, and all you're looking out for is the short term issue that you're going through, and not concerned about your long term credibility as podcasters, as Muslim content creators, as future Muslim leaders, then you can do what you want. More questions? Abu Ismail Begzi, you can watch the episode of the interview on bit.ly/boys in the cave. There's the link there. I don't know if I would say that their intentions are bad like that. They're just inexperienced in dealing with Muslim people online, so they were caught off guard and they made a mistake. Fahad, assalamu alaikum, bro. Abu Ismail, what was so controversial that you said that men should marry younger women? Honestly, on the interview, there was absolutely nothing controversial said. The reason that they gave for taking down the episode, if you see in the show notes, that in the blog post that I wrote, is that certain tweets came to light that they didn't know of before, and they decided to take it down because of that. Honestly, there was no reason to take the episode down. They could have wrote or written and published a rebuttal saying, we are a platform that has different voices on our show. We don't necessarily agree with all of their views. And in this particular case, we disassociate ourselves from these harmful, quote, harmful, I don't know what views, I haven't even seen the evidence that they've used to take the episode down. So in this case, they could have done something like that and still saved face in front of the public and not gone back on their word. Imran, no, I don't regret making any of my controversial statements. I actually make sure that I don't say anything that is beyond the bounds of what is acceptable in Islam. I toe the line, I go up to the line, but I'm pretty sure that nothing I said or say violates anything in Islam. And maybe that's not the best practice. Maybe I shouldn't be towing the line. Maybe I should be staying far away from the line. But the point is, this is how I communicate, honestly. This is how I communicate. Now, if you don't like it, you don't have to consume my content, right? I'm not sure which old tweets you're referring to, Imran. All of my tweets are pretty much the same. You guys have spoken to me, or Mort's met me before. I'm exactly the same person in real life as I am online. I don't fake a veneer of overt religiosity. Yes, I try to be a good practicing Muslim, but I have my personality and I don't allow what people's opinions of my personality dictate how I speak or behave. Haris Amin, Assalamu alaikum. What's up, bro? Who else is in here? Yeah, there's quite a few people here. Nice, not bad. Once again, bit.ly/boys in the cave. bit.ly/boys in the cave if you want to listen to the episode. I'm sure pretty much everybody in the live stream right now has listened to it, but this is just for the people who show up later. And please, guys, I'd appreciate it if you share this post using the bit.ly link that's in there, and you can see it in the description below. All right, bit.ly/boys in the cave. Now, what is what do you think are the lessons here going forward? Honestly, if you're a Muslim content creator, you need to have a thick skin. You need to have a very thick skin, right? And most importantly, your word has to be your bond. Yeah, you give somebody your word, and that's the end of it. Because stuff like this is going to happen. You know, look at the Man Mamluks. They had every opportunity to cave and take down the episode that I did, which apparently they said that they got a shitload more criticism and heat than anything that's been published on their podcast ever since, and any interviews that I've done in the past, right? So it really doesn't make sense. There's so few Muslim content creators. There needs to be some sort of unspoken rules. Like, for example, honestly, I can relate more to somebody like Dina Tokyo than her so-called religious Muslim critics. Okay? Because I understand where she's coming from. I understand how much of yourself that you put into the content that you create. And for plebes, for sheep, for normies who do nothing but consume every day without producing anything of value in their lives, to show up and just criticize and talk shit. And not only talk shit without knowledge. Most of the criticism against me is totally based on assumptions, jumping to conclusions, not even trying to understand the points I'm trying to make, not even trying to understand what becoming the Alpha Muslim is about. They heard something from someone who heard something from someone who heard something from someone, and pretty soon you have like retards who are like, yo, this guy is alt-right. This guy is a Nazi. He's a Nazi supporter. He supports Nazis. Bro, what? Are you serious? Oh, hell no, Fahad. I'm not budging. I'm going to be exactly the same as I am. In fact, not only did I republish the interview, I'm actually now running ads to the post. I'm running ads on Facebook and I'm running ads on Twitter. Ads are going to be running for a month. This is going to be the most downloaded Boys in the Cave podcast ever for the next 10 years, if they even last that long. I'm sure they'll be gone in 2 years. And it's going to be the most downloaded Boys in the Cave podcast, and it's not even going to be on their website. Yusuf, do you think every Muslim content creator should have a clear mission or clear objective they can stand on? 100%. 100%. Not only that, you have to have certain principles that you don't go back on, that you won't budge on. This is the line. Nobody gets to cross this line, right? Especially with regard to the people who are consumers of your content. People should be able to consume your content on your terms, or people will consume your content on your terms. They are free to say no to you. They are free to say, I don't like this guy, I don't want to listen to him. But they are not free to dictate what kind of content you create, how you communicate, when you communicate, why you communicate, what topics you communicate on. None of those things. In fact, 90% of the people who criticize you do not actually consume your content. The vast majority of people who are critics online do not consume a content creator's content. For example, the vast majority of my critics I know do not read my blog or listen to my podcast. How do I know? Because all of their criticisms are based on a lack of knowledge. They have no idea what the frack they're talking about when it comes to becoming the Alpha Muslim. Not only that, if they had taken the time to sit and listen to the first 10 or 15 minutes of the Boys in the Cave podcast, they would have heard me explain exactly what becoming the Alpha Muslim is about. But they didn't do that. They heard one clip, short clip, out of context that was taken out of context on purpose to generate buzz, all right? And they made a complete conclusion based on this. Abu Ismail says, Nabil is the kind of friend your wife tells you to stay away from. You need to divorce that wife, bro. Get rid of her. Talak, triple talak that shit. 100%. You know what? Somebody told me that that one of the Boys in the Cave's hosts' wives called him out on social media for this interview. Man, that is rough. That is rough. I'll be like, yo, girl, you better put your inside voice on before I put you outside. Ahnaf says, becoming the Alpha Muslim, Nazi, alt-right, etc. This is all rhetorical speak. Yes, 100%. They're not engaging in good faith dialectic speak. When they say that sort of stuff, they want to get an emotional reaction out of you, which they can use for their PR and media BS. 100%. I double down. The only way to respond to these people, these retards, is to laugh at them and mock them. And there's something called agree and amplify. Basically, you say, if they say, yes, if they say you're a Nazi, you just say, yes, I'm a Nazi, I just got done gassing whatever, you know? You say something like that. Right. Like a traveler, assalamu alaikum. Muhammad Khan, jazakumullah khair, appreciate it. Assalamu alaikum. Yeah, I've been slacking on becoming the Alpha Muslim. I'm trying to create more content, inshallah. Ahnaf says, you're beyond the pale because we feel uncomfortable about what you tweet. Oh, man. Yep. Periscope is on as well. Periscope is on. Let me share this on Nabil Aziz's Twitter. Yeah, so I'm probably gonna do more of these live streams. It's much easier than writing blogs, honestly, because blogging is like, if you do the kind of blogging that I like to do, it's very difficult to do. It takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of research, and you need to find stuff that other people haven't spoken about. Live stream, on the other hand, is much easier. You just turn it on and start talking. Admittedly, I am not the best at speaking off the cuff, public speaking, without preparation. I'm really good when I'm prepared. really good when I've prepared, but off the cuff, you can hear me. There's a big difference. You can hear a lot of verbal tics, ums and ahs and stutters, that kind of stuff. All right, who has got any more questions? Scroll through the chat and see if there are any questions that I missed. Shamarke, the boys in the cave, they messaged me after they took down the episode and after they published their their posts on Facebook, right? So they didn't give me any advance warning, and they published this on Facebook, took the episodes down, and then only after that did they contact me, which is, I don't know. I probably wouldn't have done it like that. I would have, if I was them, I would have consulted me first. I would have said, "Yo, listen, man. We're getting a lot of this criticism, and we don't know how to handle it. We're thinking of taking the episode down. What do you think?" And this is, this kind of, content creation and content engagement, social media. This is what I do for a living. I'm a marketer, digital marketer for a living. I could have coached them through this. Hell, they could have asked freaking Sim and or Mort or Mahin from the Mad Mamluks, who've been doing this, twice as long as they have, and have dealt with exactly the same stuff. They would have been able to coach them through it. But they didn't do that. So now they put themselves in this shit situation, and they're gonna end up looking like dicks. All right? And I'm sure the social justice terrorists, the social justice terrorist Muslims, are very happy that they got the episode taken down. But really, this is gonna come back and bite Boys in the Cave in the ass ultimately. All they need is another controversial speaker, and it's going to be done for them. They will never be able to have a guest who they want without, thinking twice. Is this going to blow up in our face? Are we going to have to take this episode down? That's no way to run a podcast, dude. That is no way to run a podcast. Yusuf, when am I going to start producing more podcast episodes? Honestly, I'm having trouble finding guests, and I don't even know if I want to keep doing guest podcasts, because everybody's doing guest podcasts. It's like, okay, it's like, whatever, man. When I want to create content, I'm trying to create content that's, super high quality. To start a podcast, it's really, really easy. But then to sustain it is quite hard because, how do you keep going? It's like, and even what guests are you going to invite? Everybody's going to invite, who are they going to invite? Freaking Muhammad Ghilan, Daniel Hakikachu, Jonathan Brown, Joe Bradford, Dr. Shadi. It's like the same, like 15 guests. Every Muslim podcast is inviting, And if you're really out there, maybe you'll invite one of these this feminist chick. Thinks she knows what she's talking about, but doesn't. But yeah, like, who are the guests, dude? Who are you gonna invite? Maybe, what's a good idea is to have a podcast where all you do is invite like regular ass Muslims. Like, if I had a podcast I will invite like you guys. That might make sense. Maybe we do like a Google Hangout or some shit like that, where we all get together and then we take turns. Like, I bring each guy on the mic. If you guys have watched Red Man Group, sometimes that's what they do. Yeah, for sure, man. I'm totally down to interview Yusuf. Yusuf can teach you guys a lot about digital marketing and how to grow an online platform. That's what I do for a living, but I talk about that shit enough in my other websites. Yes, that is true, Yusuf. I do invite non-Muslim guests on my show. That's because I feel like, and I made this post on my Facebook a while ago. If you want to understand women, don't speak to a sheikh. If you want to understand women, don't speak to a sheikh or a da'i or an alim. Why? Because they don't have enough data points. They don't have enough experience with women outside of the women in their family. If you want to understand women, you should speak to a male stripper. Why? Because that male stripper has thousands upon thousands of data points of female behavior that he can create systematic representations out of and understand how women behave in as a general population. In fact, I'm going to give you a podcast recommendation to listen to. If you don't mind um, a lot of cursing, because there's a lot of bad words in this podcast, you can listen to Dante Nero's The Beige Phillip Show, or The Beige Phillip Show presents Man School. That's a good show. And you can also listen on YouTube. The archives are available, or the recordings are available, of a show called The Black Phillip Show, which is the comedian Patrice O'Neill and Dante Nero. But again, that has a lot of cussing. Okay? To understand women, you need to have a lot of data points so that you can have practical representations of how they behave in the wild, so to speak. The problem most guys are dealing with is we think that women are unique and women are we put them on a pedestal. We have this sort of angelic view of what women are, you know? And the reality is, women are all alike and men are all alike, you know. And in order to understand them, you need to have like population levels of data in order to see the trends. Okay. Once you have that data set, you'll be able to more easily understand the behavior of the women in your life and why they do the things they do and how to react to them in a way that maximizes the effectiveness of the outcome. Yeah, Yusuf, I was thinking about that as well, just doing solo episodes, just me talking. I think that would be better, and it would be shorter too. It would be like 15 or 20 minutes. Okay. I think I've covered pretty much everything I need to cover about this topic. See, now the chat is working. All right, cool. All right, if you guys have any final questions, go ahead and let me know. Otherwise, I'm gonna shut it down. Yeah, one more time, please share the episode, bit.ly/boys in the cave. Listen to it if you haven't listened to it already, and share it on your social media. If you're uh, ballsy enough to deal with the fallout afterwards. All right, so it looks like there are no other questions. All right, guys, I'm out. Jazakumullah khair for listening. This is Nabil Aziz of the Becoming the Alpha Muslim podcast and the Becoming the Alpha Muslim live stream, www.becomingthealphamuslim.com. Peace.